Okay, now let's talk about thermal conductivity. Thermal conductivity, you see right here? Thermal. Whoop, too far. Thermal conductivity. Now, what is this going to do? Well, it's got a very fancy law that helps us calculate it, which is called Fourier's Law. And it says the heat flux, which is the heat passing through an area over time, is equal to my thermal conductivity times the temperature gradient, okay? How much is the temperature gradient? Now, this is not super easy to figure out, so I want to give you a couple of pictures here to help you figure it out. One, think Gandalf, okay? Gandalf, nice little beard here, there you go, mustache. You shall not pass. I like it. I'm happy with this Gandalf person. Beautiful. So Gandalf is right here, and he is saying, you shall not pass. And, well, energy is going to pass anyway, and energy doesn't care about Gandalf. And there's a couple things that we have to think about when we're talking about energy. And we're going to all talk about this with a bowl of soup. Okay? Gandalf is wanting to pass, but it's going to happen anyway. So let's say you have a bowl of hot soup. It's too hot to deal with, and so there's various things you can do to cool it off. One, well, you can start blowing on it. You blow on it, and hopefully that's enough to get it going nicely. And maybe that works. That's a terrible smiley face. My pen's messing up in that corner. The second thing you can do if you want it to cool off more quickly is you can put it into a larger bowl. Okay? Because one, that increases the surface area that's able to radiate heat. Why does that matter? Because heat flux is always per meter squared. It's per surface area. So the surface of the bowl and the surface of the liquid, they're all radiating the heat outward. So the more surface area, the faster it'll cool down. So that's coming down there from that meter squared. The second thing you can do is get a bowl that's less insulating. If you got a big old ceramic bowl, like with a really thick rim, it's going to take a long time for that to cool down because that's a good insulator. It's very, very thick. And that's going to change how it is releasing heat. However, if I get a bowl that's very, very thin, then it's going to radiate that heat more quickly because the heat can pass through more quickly. Okay, that's another way we can get our bowl of soup to cool down. The last thing, or at least one other thing we can do, is simply to wait a while. If you wait a while, you look at the clock here, well, eventually it's going to cool down. And hopefully don't forget about it and come back to cold soup. And then the last thing is you can put it in a soup that has a good thermal conductivity, that likes to take heat and take it away from one place and send it somewhere else. So that's the last thing we can do. That's right here. So the biggest thing this law is telling you how to cool down your soup. If you want that temperature to change, last thing you can do is you can put it someplace cold. You need a big temperature gradient. If you have hot soup and it's a hot sunny day, it's going to take longer than it would be if it was a cold day. You put it outside in the snow, well, guess what? It's going to cool down pretty quickly. So either the temperature gradient needs to be high, the thickness of where it's going through needs to be small, the material needs to have a high thermal conductivity, you need to have a large surface area, or put it over a large time, and all of those things will allow you to get rid of that heat energy. Okay? All of that will allow you to get rid of that heat energy. And you know this. You've cooled down soup before. So when you think of thermal conductivity, when you look at Fourier's Law, think of how you would cool down your soup. Okay? Now, who's a good thermal conductor? Well, guess what? Metals are amazing thermal conductors. Why? One, they're all nice and ordered, which lets their atomic vibrations transfer the energy as phonons, those lattice waves. And the second is free electrons are great at transferring electricity. And guess what? They're also great at transferring thermal energy. And what do metals have? They have thermal energy in spades. Ceramics are okay at transferring energy. They're not fantastic thermal conductors. Some are better than others. And that's all because of atomic vibrations. They can still transfer energy through atomic vibrations. In polymers, they're absolutely terrible thermal conductors. Why? Because it wants to do everything except for transfer that energy, because it has all those interconnected, twisted up pieces. which leaves lots of gaps, lots of untwisting, lots of things that are going to anything besides getting that energy to your hand. Now, you realize this because what are your what are your cookware's handles made out of? Are they made of metal? Hopefully not. No, usually they're made of plastic. Made of plastic because it doesn't conduct electricity all that well. Sorry, that's true as well. It doesn't conduct heat all that well. If you're heating up something in the microwave, would you rather heat it up in a glass container? Or would you rather heat it up in a plastic container? I'd rather heat it up in plastic because if I heat it up in glass, well, it's going to be burning my hands because the glass will get hot. The polymers right there, they're not going to transmit that energy as quickly. So these are things that you've dealt with all your life, and you just have to think about that. So I believe that's everything. Yep. So thank you for listening, and I'll see you all next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.